Hey guys, so I just wanted to make a video showing you guys what I'm doing with my car right now. I have parts everywhere at the moment. So basically today I am trying to figure out why my window was getting stuck. A lot of the times it is the window motor. However, I personally didn't really think it was the motor just because in the past I have gotten the motor replaced on this side, and I noticed that when the motor was before it completely stopped working, it had like slowly stopped working. And what I mean by that is when I would roll the window up or down, it would roll really slowly, and then one day it just completely stopped working. Like a week ago, the window was working perfectly fine, and then just all of a sudden I tried to roll it up and it got stuck halfway and it just stopped. It just wouldn't move. Later that night, I took off the door panel and I tried to figure out if the switches were the problem and if the wiring was the problem. And while I was doing so, I ended up pushing the switch up and it rolled up. But then later when I tried to roll it up or down again, it was stuck again. So that led me to believe that it wasn't the motor that was bad. However, that doesn't rule out the possibility that the motor was getting stuck, because I actually found out that that is a common issue with these cars where the motor gets stuck. So this is the motor right here. So if you are looking at the panel, let's see. It looks like it would be sitting right back here in this area. So I know what a lot of people do is they'll just either hit that or they'll kick it while trying to roll the window up or down, and sometimes that helps with getting the motor unstuck, and then it works. Again, I don't know why that motor gets stuck, it just does sometimes, but I didn't think that was my issue. I of course did try a few times to hit it even with the panel off, and it wasn't moving. Just to show you guys how to take that door apart, you just need a flathead to get in between this, and then this will come off, as you can see, and then the actual speaker. So well, this one was on that side, but there's a screw right in there, which is just a Phillips head. It was one of these, I think it was this one. So go in there with the screwdriver and take that off, and then you can actually unclip it. You will see that clip is held together just so it's not dangling, and then this comes off. This side's broken, it's been broken for a while, but you just go in with the flathead right up here and you just pry it out. So just be careful not to break it. Like I said, you should just be able to easily pry it out. Then there's this clip right here, and for this part you just pull it out. So you do want to take this out first and then just lift this up through here. And then again, this side's all broken, but let me go to the other side. Then for the switches, to be able to take the switches out of this, it's held on by also two screws right here and right here. So again, with the Phillips head, you're just going to take those screws off from right over here, and then this should be able to come out. There's also a tab right on the side over here, which you can see right here. So once you take that off, you should just be able to pop the door out from that side, and then you want to just kind of start prying it out through the top, and then obviously just lift it up from where the lock is, and your door comes out. I will show you guys. So I kind of was trying to test the wires to make sure they were making connections, but I first wanted to make sure that it wasn't the actual switches that were bad. These are pretty cheap, you can buy them from AutoZone and just replace them. It's kind of hard to show you guys with one hand, but basically you will just take a flathead, and on the inner part you see this open square right over here. You're gonna go in with the flathead through there and just start prying it out. So I did that with this side, and then same thing. I think you might be able to just pop it out. Okay, maybe not. Take that flathead. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to show you guys. Okay, and there. When I first took these out, I figured out right away they are the exact same thing on both sides. So what I did was I took both of them off and I just switched them in place, And even then, I noticed that no matter which switch was on the driver's side, the window would just not roll up or down. And like I said, that switch from the driver's side went in the passenger side, and it still worked on the passenger side. So that's how I ruled out that the actual switches, these were not the problem. I did go and buy this circuit meter from AutoZone, and I think there it was like $7-8, which you can get the exact same one from Harbor Freight for like $4, I believe. It's just by the time I went to go get this, Harbor Freight had closed, so I went to AutoZone. But this, you can just connect this right down here, and this, I just put it right there. And I'm just gonna show you guys really quickly how to check the wiring with this. To use this, you're gonna see that when it gets connection to something, it'll light up. And then for this one's when you push the button down, it lights up. This white black one over here, when you push it up, it lights up. I don't know what these black ones are. I don't know if this is a ground. Again, I'm not great with electrical stuff. This blue black one always lights up. But yeah, so basically how you use this. So this is how I figured out that the actual issue wasn't in this area right over here. Now, as you can see, I have Lambo doors on this car, and I don't know if they did any like modifications to the harness when they installed the doors, or if there was just enough slack to be able to run those door hinges without messing with this. But I somehow figured out that when I had the door all the way up, this would go up and down, which obviously it's not right now because that's disconnected. As soon as I put it down like this or over here, the window would stop rolling up or down. So with that being said, before I had split this apart, I was trying to mess with the harness right over here, and I noticed when I pulled it towards me, it would roll up and down even with the door down. Since it worked whenever I would pull this towards me, I concluded that the issue was either probably around this corner right here or around this corner right here. So I went ahead with a blade and I split this apart. And as soon as I split this apart, I realized that this was very loosely put together. And as you can see with it like this, it doesn't reach. Now this was crimped together by this right over here, but even, you know, as you can see, it's like just me holding it in place like this, it barely reaches. And I should have took a video of how it was before I took this off, but you could see, I could see that this wire was exposed, so it looked like it was either already like coming off or it was maybe hanging on by a few threads, because I could see this just popping out. I went ahead and removed this because I couldn't really like push it back in anymore. This was useless. At this very moment, I don't have, I mean, I can connect them if I really try to, but when I open and close the door, it messes with how much slack there is. I don't want to risk trying to crimp these together and having this split apart, which is obviously the issue to begin with. Once again, I'm not an electrician, and electrical stuff isn't stuff that I'm very familiar with, so I just asked Instagram if anybody knows if I can just buy some more wire, be able to rewire them back together and have some extra slack with that. So give me a second, my neighbor just pulled up. Sorry about that. One of my old neighbors passed by and we started talking. But basically, while we were talking, I actually had somebody reach out and tell me that I should be able to use, I'm assuming that wire is made out of copper, so I'm assuming like any copper wire, as long as it's the same size. And he mentioned that I can either use some leftover wire from like the speaker, or if I have any other wiring laying around, I can try to use that, which I do remember I had some random wire sitting in my garage. So I had this laying around and I have no idea where this came from. And originally there was one end that was sticking out, and I could tell that it was basically the same size wire as the harness. So I went ahead and I cut a part off of it. I obviously sliced this back to be able to expose the wire, and then I went ahead and connected that with a wire that I had showed you guys earlier. I was just praying that this wouldn't short out my car, that I would blow something, but let me go ahead and show you guys. And as you guys saw earlier, that window was not rolling down without that connected, and with those wires it is perfectly fine now. So I think I fixed the issue. I did also get a message where someone said you can use 18 gauge wire, and I originally was gonna go to like Harbor Freight, Home Depot, AutoZone, and ask and see if anybody could give me the answers, but I already have that. I'm lucky to have you guys here to answer any questions that I have, so somebody answer that. So I'll go ahead and put the message on here so you guys can see what they said. But yeah, so it looks like I was able to get that done with this. So it is kind of long still. As you can see, that is like way too much slack, so I'm gonna cut this maybe by like an inch. And then I do have some heat shrinkers. If you have those little things to crimp them together, you can use that, but I don't at the moment, or at least not here at the house. But I do have these. I've used these in the past. These are really easy to work with, and I actually think this one fell out and this is probably the perfect size for it. So these are really easy to work with. All you have to do is put them through the wire before you connect them, and then you would apply some heat, which I use a lighter, or you can also use a heat gun as well. And once you heat this up, it'll shrink and keep everything together. You can also use electrical tape. I personally found it's just much easier to work with these heat shrinkers. So yeah, let me go ahead and kind of clean that wire up, and I will get back to you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and use some bigger ones just because this one barely fits in there, as you can see. If you guys have those little things to crimp this together, I personally would recommend that over using electrical tape or these heat shrinkers, just because it will be a lot sturdier. But this is just what I'm doing. I'm just kind of like using what I have at hand. So yeah, I think that should be sturdy enough. Yeah, let me go ahead and just use bigger heat shrinkers. I think this should be okay. This was one originally and I cut it in half. So hopefully that's long enough to cover everything. I tried looking for my electrical tape, and at this very moment I don't know where it is. Ow! Okay, I think that should be sturdy enough, so let's, oops. Okay, so I'll be honest with you guys, I really didn't feel comfortable just leaving that with the heat shrinker, so I looked for my electrical tape and I found that. So I am gonna go ahead and tape these wires together just because I do feel like it'll be a lot more sturdy with electrical tape. So I don't think that should go anywhere. I guess I should have took this off. I'm just gonna add a little piece to this side just to make sure it doesn't come apart. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same thing for that top wire. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of extra wire to this middle part just because those wires were kind of sticking out a bit and I don't want them to poke through. That should be good there, but let me go ahead and just test it out one more time. Cool. Let me put the door down. Let's go ahead and test it out again. Yeah. So yeah, I do think that that wire was the only issue that I had. I think that should be it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tuck this right back into here and put this back together. I tucked that in as much as I could, and then I went ahead and wrapped everything else up with some electrical tape for now. So I hope that should do it. And then these little like sleeves up here, this was just zip tied together, so I'm going to go ahead and put another zip tie on there. Same thing with this side. You can actually see the mark of the old zip tie, so it's kind of hard to do it with the tripod in the way, and that's why I didn't record this part. Got that pop back into place. Let me go ahead and just zip tie this together and I'll get back to you guys right now. Okay, so I got those zip ties on, so I think this should be okay. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and put everything back together and hope that everything works. Nala, get over here. Go over there. More. Okay, sit. 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 If you're wondering why all of this is missing, it's because I originally was planning on disconnecting the harness for it, which is this right here. I was having some trouble doing it with my nails, so I thought maybe if I took this piece off, I could disconnect it, but even then, I don't know, I couldn't pull it out. It's kind of hard to see, but I had flipped this earlier and it looks like there's no tab on the other side, but there is a little tab right over here. I had been pushing this in with the flathead while trying to pull this out and it just wasn't coming out. That was actually the point where I decided to give up on trying to check this side and just decided to split this open and hope that the issue was anywhere over here, which ended up working out because the issue was not anywhere in this area. As you guys saw, it was right in the middle here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this. Oh my god, it's a spider. Oh my god, that one's like red and I don't know if that's like a danger to Nala. Never mind, it's gone. If you guys are wondering if you guys ever have to take these apart, well, this is in reverse, so this comes out afterwards, but let's see. I'm gonna line this up right here, and then I think that's it. There was a tab on the side right over here, which if you guys don't own one of these, I recommend buying these because this is a lifesaver. You guys don't know how many times I have struggled in the past with pins, push pins like that, and these just make it so easy to take them off. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop that right back in. Cool. That's supposed to be like this. So okay, cool. This, if you guys are wondering, is just held on by these tabs right over here. So you really just need to pull this out really hard. So I personally just use this. What I did is I went in there and I just lifted it up by those areas. But let me go ahead and push this back down. Okay, it goes like this. So let me go ahead and just push this off camera because I kind of need all my strength. Is someone popping fireworks? Oh, my poor baby. It's just fireworks. It's okay. Siéntate, mamas. This was kind of hard to push in, so I just ended up stepping on it. So I started from here and then I stepped all the way down to this side and I got this pushed back into place. This side held by a pin right down here. I'm gonna go ahead and put the speaker back on. This just connects like this. So when you take this off with the flathead, just pull this part out through right here and then you can unclip it. And then this should be the screw for it. Okay, and then this is where it will screw into. So, whoops, you're just gonna tuck that harness into there, and then this just kind of goes into place right here. My phone actually died as I was recording, so I left it plugged in for a little bit, and I now have it. No, I had it plugged in with an extension cord. I took that time while I was like charging up. I like vacuumed my car, so it's a little cleaner now. But as I was saying, for the speaker, you're gonna go ahead and align that to that hole right there, and you're gonna go in with that screw and you're just gonna put that back in. So what I do, because it's a little bit tricky, if you have like, I don't know if this is magnetic, so if you had a magnetic screwdriver, it helps, but I just kind of bring this up to it, and then with my other hand I'm going to hold the speaker, and then I'm just going to screw this in. Cool. As far as the speaker, this just pops back into place, but this is sticking out a little bit. Let me see. Should be okay. That just pops back into place, and then after that, you're gonna take this. This just plugs back into there, so let me do that really quickly. And then, like I said, this is just held on by those two other Phillip heads, so I'm gonna pop that back into place. And you'll see it'll be like that. And then you're gonna put in those 2 screws in here and there, which I have right over here. I got those 2 screwed back in, and then from there you will just push this in and then pop this in and you should be good to go. Ew, hold on. Okay, that was bothering me. And yeah, that is it. So I guess it's time to just test this out one more time. It shouldn't matter, but I'm just gonna close the door. Yeah, I'm so happy. I didn't realize how late it was getting, and I rushed over to Chick-fil-A to get a sandwich really quickly, but the whole time that I was there I kept rolling the window up and down just to make sure it was working fine, and it looks like that 100% was the issue. I do also want to say there's a chance that it could be the fuse, which if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is actually the fuse for the power windows. With the other ones, you can use that like meter that I showed you guys earlier and just kind of use the end to poke at the little, what's it called, the little like dots you guys see. But with this one, that one has like a special way of checking for it, which I didn't have like the tools that you needed to check it, so I just assumed it wasn't that fuse. But there is a video on YouTube on how to check that specific fuse if you guys want to look that up. But yeah, so it could be the fuse, it could be the motor either out or getting stuck, it could be the switches, or it could just be the wiring harness, as that was the case with mine, where you have a wire that's splitting apart. Or I guess it could also come from the actual, I'm having a brain fart, whatever that's called, where a wire could be like ripping out from that area or from that little connection, whatever. Sorry guys, I'm trying to figure this out. I also haven't eaten in a few hours, so I'm starving, but I'm gonna go ahead and eat my food really quickly, and I do want to just say a few more things before I let you guys go. I haven't ate yet, but I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap up the video really quickly. But I just want to say I am beyond thankful to have you guys here on any of my platforms, really. Anytime that I have a question about my car, I do go and ask Instagram, because there's a lot of you guys that have ran into these issues before or have seen these issues and know how to go about fixing them. And it always helps getting like different information and different scenarios of everything, so I can like create a checklist of things to go through and figure out exactly what the issue is. There's a lot of videos on YouTube of people fixing these issues. A lot of times, you know, it could be different things why something isn't working, so I like to just know what all the issues are and try to figure out what it is. There's a lot of people who are knowledgeable in this stuff, and they're not like good at like YouTube and like editing and posting videos. So sadly, a lot of people have information, but you just can't always find it on YouTube. So I figured if I can gather all that information and help you guys and put it all together and get that out to you guys, it might help you guys. I actually got a lot of messages of you guys from Instagram saying that you guys have issues with your window as well. So I figured I might as well put a video together, give you guys that information that I have. Hopefully you guys can figure out what the issue is and resolve it yourself as well. So with that being said, I want to say thank you to all of you guys for all the times you guys reach out to me, helping me out with any issues that I have. I do also want to give a special shout out to someone who follows me on Instagram. I just asked him for his name today because I didn't know what his name was this whole time, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I believe his name is Sai. And I just want to give a shout out to him because anytime that I have issues and I post it on Instagram, and anytime he watches it, it seems like he always has an answer for the issue. And a lot of the times the answers that he gives me actually end up being exactly what my issue is, or he gives me just solutions to any problems that I have. And you specifically have been such a great help to me. You know, like I said, there's a lot of you guys who do message me with answers, but like I said, this specific person just seems to always answer every single question that I have. So I want to say thank you, Sai. Thank you so much for always reaching out and helping me. I don't know what I would do without you. I think that's basically it. Thank you guys for watching and for being here. I love you all very much, and I will see you all next time.